My name is Robin Dobler. I am originally from Switzerland and I'm living in London. I'm literally living the dream. Who would have thought that with 26 years old, I am living in London? I'm coming from Switzerland in a small town. I went through quite a bit in my life, if I'm honest. Like, it started with being born 2 months too early. Like, um, I had mechanical problems. My brain and my body didn't function together. I had to learn literally through action music. Well, it's kind of funny. Now I'm a dancer. Through music, I learned how to give you my hands through repetition, how to move my lips. Like moving your lips is actually moving. It's like dancing, right? And again through repetition, I learned how to do all of that. But in the same time, I was taken away from my parents. With four, my mother was told to give her child to another family or to put her child slash myself into a child home. I went literally on a Sunday, I believe it was a Sunday, to the child home, and I was barely 4 years old, and had to see how it will work and if I can stay there. However, normally you in Switzerland you're not allowed to get to a child home before you're 6 years old. Not if even 6 or 7, 8 years old. But because this was such a last minute important thing, and there was a space, luckily, on one of the houses, in one of the houses, that they decided to put me there. Most of the kids, so you have to imagine, like, in this there are like it's like an area, it's like a place. You have around 4 till 5 houses or 8 kids per house, or teenagers actually in that case, and 4 adults who are looking for these kids, right? um, and I got into one of these houses where the kids mainly, like, I would say, like almost 12 plus to 16 and 18 years old. And luckily they were really excited to have, this little kid, um, that they can nurture and put it to bed. And actually, it was really, really cute if I think back. And I'm really grateful for this, for the love I got then. But yeah, I had to learn on a very, very early age to be on myself, because yeah, this is literally what I had to do all the time. And so yeah, through this, I was there on the weekends. Like on the weekends, we were allowed. Well, actually, the parents were allowed to pick you up and take you home, or through the holidays. Now, in my case, many times my parents will not come. Um, Many years later, I will not know why. I will not understand why. I was a very, how should I say, a very, I like to call it a gray kid, like a gray cloud kid. Not sure if this is very nice to say so, but I do it. And a very living in the past kind of way. Like, why should I understand why this and that and so on? Anyway, I was also pretty much lonely. Yeah, I was not able to play with kids. I did not like it, I guess, as well, in a way. Um, but through experience, and you have to learn certain things sometimes the hard way. And in my case, I had to learn really quickly certain things, and I had to realize that certain things, it's on me. um, Many years later, I think I was around 10ish, I would say so. I was so what the child home tries is to put kids that are not with their parents to weekend families or holiday families, where they look for this kid, and to actually learn to experience the life to be with a family. Um, and in this family, they had 2 kids. The younger kid was actually my age at back then, and he was literally, like, for me, like my brother. It's being very much honest. But the problem was, because I was raised in a child home, my freedom through like be able building the trust with the people that worked in the child home, my freedom was way higher than these kids, right? And so unfortunate things happened, and this kid said some things that I did that I've not done, and the parents knew, but they had to save their kid in a way. So they kind of kicked me out. Anyway, a little bit backwards. What they did though, and that changed my whole life, is they, in different words, I can't really tell you what the words were, but they told me like, kind of woke me up. Not kind of, they did. Literally woke me up without even knowing. But they kind of used the words like, how can you be grateful and happy if you always stay in the past? You know, like this sentence, if you hear these words, today's I feel like they have not that much meaning, right? But if you're really in that situation, that can have an effect because you realize, or in my case, I did, luckily, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm also very proud of that. I realized that it's not about the surroundings. I choose. I honestly choose to live the life I live. So, with like after that and saving a 19-year-old girl, or like actually teenager, life because telling my story, I realized that I have to change. Right? It's only honestly on me. I was bullied for 8 years long because dancing or because I'm not playing football, and nobody knew about it. I was very quiet, and I will not speak, but I will fake. So nobody knew. Childhood did not know. The school did not know. But after that, I realized, okay, it is on me. I have to go outside and play with the kids. I have to do it. Nobody will do it for me. I had to learn that with 10 years old. That's quite early. And I'm so beyond grateful that I did that because, as you can hear, I'm smiling. So it's a good thing. So yeah, anyway, out of this, and then many other situations, like in school, for example, I got this to this point where I spoke about it, that I was bullied for 8 years. And the school did something very radical. They said, if you're not going to speak about it in the child home, they're going to kick me out of the school. They knew exactly that I'm smart enough that I know that they are not, that they can't do it. But again, it was a trigger point for me to realize I have to speak up. It's on me. It's not on anybody else. So I did it. I told them. And that was the question, okay, what are we going to do? How am I going to be able? So now, to explain this whole situation really quickly, I lived in this it's not like a small village, it's like a big village, it's almost a city though. And we have very, very small villages around. And I was bullied not just in my kind of almost city, but all the small villages around. And people did not even know me, right? Not even know if I dance or not, whatever. Anyway, so what I did, I spoke with the teachers and I invited 20 kids into a room with all the teachers on a big table, literally a Game of Thrones kind of style. And I would sit on the top and I would ask the question, why do you bully me? Like, why? And you know, the answer is very sad and somehow confusing and beautiful and understandable. Mainly it was because they didn't want to be bullied. It was mainly, it was cool, it was in, it was, their friends did it. But some people said, I don't actually know. I think I like you. But what I did in that time already, for me, it was always about, and I didn't speak that yet, but for me, it's always about bringing awareness. Awareness to whatever topic. I very strongly believe in we do not know anything, like absolutely nothing, but I'm aware what I believe I know, right? So for me, it was to share awareness. I wanted to make them aware what they do can hurt and is painful. And I guess I'm strong enough to speak out. Anyway, the thing that they were the most confused and perplexed, probably, and surprised is I asked the teachers to not punish them in any way. Also, not to say, tell to the parents or anything. So they asked, and now what? I was like, you can leave. Thank you for being honest. And I did this with 20 kids. Yo, you do not know how crazy the respect came from one little minute to another. And there were some other situations, but yeah, I really was able to being honest and to myself, you know. And in that time, around 16-ish, I believe so, I also went to therapy after many, many bad mistakes, not mistakes, but bad experiences. Back in the days when you went to therapy, they thought like you're sick, la 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 la. But anyway, I had this one therapist. We when I was there for a year. And the first 30 minutes, we will literally like call it the little Robin. And I would play in a sandcast. I would use baby voice. I would play with toys and everything that I have not done when I was like literally almost a baby. And the next 30 minutes, I will talk about why and about my parents not understanding and how I feel and not being bullied and la 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 la. Anyway, and a year later, I knew I could remember certain things that a baby should not remember, like when you're 2 years old, like not getting food, not getting love, being like what is it called, closed in, and so on. And I will call my mother literally. I believe, and it sounds crazy, but I think it was on a Wednesday because the therapy was on a Wednesday, so it's not crazy. It was on a Wednesday. I will call my mother and say, "Look, it's the last time you can tell me the truth. I know some things make no sense. I need to know now why. It's the time now. I need to. That's the last part of my healing." So I will go to the child home. I would literally smash my backpack there. They will be pretty quick aware that something is wrong with me, and I will be okay. It's time to tell me the truth. I want to know why I'm in a child home. I want to know what happened, who I am. I want to read my medicine documents that I'm not allowed to read, right? Because you're not allowed with 16 to read your documents. You're not. Anyway, they knew that at that point, that was the very last key of healing. So they said, okay, we show it to you, but we read it for you. You can read it as well, but you're not allowed to get it. It's like, cool. And through that, I learned all the things. But the most important thing that I didn't speak yet, and I think this is really something important, is I learned that my parents are very sick. Now, from the point of why hate, not hate, but not understanding, I had to go really quick to the point of, whoa, okay, now this turns completely around. It's not about accepting only, it's also about forgiving. And that can be sometimes very hard, right? Small things, even if your little brother or sister or best friend or whatever did something, or even if your dog ate your breakfast, I don't know. Forgiving can be super simple and super hard at the same time. So I had to realize and learn that it's not just about the fact, it's more about, it's a bigger picture now, right? But also I found so much calmness and breath into knowing, finding what really happened. And yeah, I broke up the relationship with my mother because she wanted to take me out of the child home, and I was like, absolutely not. But I was able to rebuild a kind of son-mother relationship. To the sickness of my mother, my father has split in personalities, and is schizophrenic. I believe that's right in English. Mother is schizophrenic as well. My father more in a personal way, and my mother is more in a psycho way. I don't think that's right said, but it's alright. Um, but yeah, and I got a lot of medication back when I was a kid, and vaccinations. That's why I have a huge panic for needles, because they were scared that I would get sick in certain ways as well. So even that made sense, right? But yeah, it was really about understanding, also understanding why my dad didn't care about me and so on. And again, I understood and accepted that this is a part and I can't change that. And that's all right as well. It doesn't define who I am today. It actually made me even stronger and more aware about everything around me, right?
When did you discover or realize that you're asexual?
My ex-girlfriend asked me if I'm asexual, and I had absolutely no idea what that is. I've never heard that in my whole life. And I asked her to explain it to me. After hearing and after taking a bit of time to listen to other people speaking about it, everything makes sense. Like everything was so clear. Like I I understood that I'm not different, or like that something's wrong with me. It just felt honest, natural, and true. I would say like it was yeah, it's really hard to explain, but it felt like everything makes sense now. I guess when I was a kid, I just never really felt sexual attraction, and I was really asking myself so many times, am I gay? Like, am I into men? But then I'm like, if I think about that, I'm like, nah, that doesn't feel right either. But then the big question is, whoa, so now I have to label myself. I'm asexual. um, and I felt no, like I didn't want it to. But at the end, it's just denying as well. So yes, I am asexual, and that is alright, and that is not weird or confusing or wrong or not normal, whatever normal is in today's day. But I'm just me. I'm just my beautiful, imperfect, so very perfect self. And I went through a lot in my life, honestly. I'm very grateful that I have never been bullied because of being asexual, because I did not know. I was bullied for many years because I dance, but not because I'm asexual. So I'm very grateful for that, and I've never been really in a conflict with that. However, if I'm honest, I was very much in conflict with myself because I did ask myself many times, what is wrong with me, or why am I not interested in any sexual attractions or any sexual talks or anything like that, even in movies. Like I give a fuck about this scene, so I'm not watching them. um but yeah, it never really affected me in that way. Just I realized that it actually did. I was affected because I judge myself, like I ask myself, why, what is wrong with me? And that is kind of sad, isn't it? At the end, it is. However, it doesn't matter anymore. First of all, it's in the past, but also it's just a title. Not even. It's nothing. It's for me. It. I don't think. No, of course it's a part of me, and I think that's really really important. Everything I do, everything I see, everything I feel, touch is a part of me, but it doesn't define who I am today because I'm just myself, and I think that's the most important thing to do, being yourself and being truthful to yourself and loving yourself. I think that's just one of the most important keys. But I'm aware that being asexual is a part of my identity and my life. And you know, I am proud to be myself. I'm proud of what I have achieved, of who I am, of who I become, and I'm proud to stand here. And I can also say, yeah, I'm proud to be asexual. Do I need to be proud of that? No, I'm human, as you all are as well. But yeah, I am proud to be asexual. I accept it's a part of me, and that's beautiful. I wouldn't say it defines me because I didn't change really about it, but I accepted as I accepted the fact that I was raised in a child home, as I accepted that many things in my past maybe didn't make sense for a long time, but I found the positive, and that's all about. I share, or I want to share, positivity, good energy, and love. It's not all happy and smiles. We always need both, yin and yang, right? Black and white. You have the line in between. I call it the billion of gray tones. And we need both. And that makes it human. That makes us human. With that said, I wish you all the best. Be yourself. Be your authentic, beautiful, imperfect, perfect self.